Masks of Gnarltep is set in the 1920s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend, we merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Gnarltep. Join us each week as our investigators follow a path of clues and attempt to save the world from an ancient evil. Starring John Quiet, Justin Kimmett, Shirley Nedswicki, George Chipples, Jason Hall, and Scott Troiano, with me, Matt Quiet, running the table as the Keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi guys, here we are back again with Nerds Domain presents Masks of Gnarltep. Today I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
Scott.
Hello.
George.
What's up?
Johnny.
Hi.
Jason. Got it right this time.
Hello.
Justin.
Hi.
And I'm Matt. Let's get right back into the action. If this is your first episode, you might want to look back a couple. There's some intrigue going on.
You mean listen back a couple?
Yeah, we could listen back a couple too. Wow. So
Semantics.
let's get right into the action. George, why don't you give me a credit roll since you're going to contact Erica Carlisle?
Okay. Nope.
No.
Miss it by 5.
So you call her, one of her many businesses, to try and get a hold of her, and you kind of get the brush off.
I do.
You might give it another try again tomorrow at a different location.
Yes. In the meantime, can I try and look at the occult symbol and do some research with that?
Yes, you can. It'll be a full 12 hours in a library, though.
I will also be trying that.
Okay, so you two can combine to do that for a full 12 hours in the library.
I can do it.
You three can all combine to do that for a full 12 hours in the library.
I've got a show.
I'm gonna.
What show?
You're actually on retainer and you're getting paid for this.
So?
You can skip your
Why
shows.
can't I go to show?
I'm also expecting
She can go do a show if she has a show.
What show?
I will leave a message.
She has a trick show she does at a small theater,
Vaudeville.
a vaudeville show. It's part of it. She's got an act.
Man, I'm going to leave a
So-
message with the front desk for when the library calls
Calls you?
back
Okay.
from where I'll be.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna as soon as he gets rebuffed by Miss Carlisle, I'm going to go as a agent of the police.
To where?
I guess her house.
That is Westchester. It's about 20 minutes outside the town.
I'll
Do you have a
go.
car?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, I can drive you.
Yeah, we can get that. Just a second. So you're gonna call the police then?
No. I'm going to call on her as the police.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm an agent
So
of the police.
Can I give her a buzz and see if I can
You can
talk
roll your
into
credit
her
rating, sure.
as a
Would you like to wait for him?
friend
wait
of
for him, yes.
friend of her brother's? No.
Mrs. Carlisle, a lot of weird people are calling for you today.
So you take the drive out. Are you going out by yourself?
No,
Or
I'm
are
going
you
with the corporal.
Are you taking McCree? Are you going with them?
No, I'm working.
Okay. You find yourself out in Westchester. When you get to the front door, or the front gate, they ask who you are, and that's where you'll have to give me a credit rating again. Any of you. Either of you.
So I get a bonus for being an actual operative of the police.
Made it. 45 out of 55.
No? Okay. So he talks you past the credit rating part, but now you're going to need a fast talk or a persuade to get in the door.
Yes. 47 out of 60. So.
You convince...
Which do you want that to be? Because
You tell me which one it is.
It's persuade.
Okay. Sorry, hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah.
On the way out, you do catch an ominous glimpse of Sing Sing Prison. The Carlisle estate consists of an elegant 3-story mansion and 5 acres of superb ground, all guarded by 12-foot-high iron fence topped with sharpened finials. As the gate opens to allow you to in, 2 armed guards with dogs come up to the car and walk alongside it as you drive up the road.
I drive just fast enough that they'll have to work and jog it.
Okay. But not fast enough that you're clearly trying to get away.
Right.
Okay.
Just
No,
I'm inconsiderate.
So you're gonna be a dick.
do give me a drive rule.
So you don't run over a dog. If I have to make a sanity check because you ran over a fucking dog, I'm going to kill you.
I got a 13. I'm good.
What now?
I got a 13.
Okay, good. Yeah, you don't accidentally push too hard on the accelerator and shoot past them when you're trying to do this.
Yes.
So yeah, you keep it up. You keep it up.
And we also don't hear...
You get to the front little circle where you park, and you go up to the door, and you're greeted at the door by a large man. He clearly is carrying a huge .45 revolver in his shoulder holster, and he has some sort of pocket on his sleeve that, if you had to guess, it looks like some sort of brass knuckles.
I'd actually only seen one vaudeville, or actually only really heard of one prominent vaudeville, a William J. Lepetamine. Quite interesting. Oh, look, we have a visitor.
He invites you in by waving at you and glaring the whole way, and brings you into a parlor, motions for you to sit down, and then walks out. He doesn't say a word the whole time.
I'm going to pace around the room and see what I can see.
A couple minutes later, a butler comes in, sits down tea.
Oh, quite,
And
yes.
It's not breakfast time, but it is early morning.
Morning
so
tea.
it's morning tea. Can I bring you anything else?
Cream and lemon, please.
No.
Oh, sometimes you don't need the lemon.
I'm just... Quick question: Is Miss Carlisle actually home, or will we be speaking?
She's on the ground somewhere.
So we should be.
Corporal, do you take sugar with your tea?
Sure,
Oh,
if you'd be so kind.
Oh,
as
of
soon as her
course.
counsel gets here, she'll speak with you.
Thank you.
I'm making tea for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon.
You're the expert.
Oh,
Yes,
well.
it takes 20-25 minutes, and you hear the door open again.
Is there anything to rifle through a desk?
No.
Okay.
No.
Lemon tea.
You do notice in that 25
With
minutes that a couple of times the giant, clearly a bodyguard, looks in on you.
Yeah.
And not but stands in the doorway, blocking almost the entirety of the doorway, watching you, and then walks off.
And I willfully ignore him as
Yes.
British royalty can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
He does
glance
not
at him,
exist.
But glance at him, but he clearly doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
This is the demeanor I put forward.
So a gentleman, wow, I'm not seeing his name. Or I see his name, I'm not seeing his description. There we go. A gentleman, slightly gray along the temples, wearing a nice bowler hat, walks in. Gentleman.
Indoors?
Yeah, well, he's taking it off as he
Oh,
walks
okay.
in, because you are just inside
I
the door.
see.
Gentlemen, I am Bradley Gray. I will be speaking for Miss Carlisle today. She'll be joining us in just a moment. So, what might I ask him? Which one of you? I'm gonna have to guess you're the New York police officer. Betting British.
Oh, quite right, sir.
What exactly can I do for the police?
Well,
I can see your badge, right?
Of course. Show him the badge. I'm an agent.
He
Yeah.
sets it down, and
Yeah, no problem.
you can understand that you're not the police. Just
I'm
the
acting
authority.
as an agent for the police, yes. By no means do I mean to misrepresent myself. There was a spot of trouble in the city, last night.
Murder.
Yes.
I read about the writer.
Yes, Mr.
Front page this morning.
Mr. Elias was looking into the disappearance of Miss Carlisle's brother in Africa.
Yes, Roger.
Yes, Roger. And we were, my associates and I were going to be retained to investigate the matter further than the authorities already have. The reason for my visit here today was I was curious if Mr. Elias had contacted Miss Carlisle regarding the investigation, and if there was any information she could share with us that she had already shared with Mr. Elias.
And as you kind of finish that sentence, he stands up. No, Erica, please join us. And he
Sure.
looks have both of you expecting. And she comes in, not behind you necessarily, but off kind of out of your view.
Oh, I'll
stand up.
Her, yes. Stand up. Yes.
And she comes and sits next to him, and he sits and you sit. Now, he leans over and you overhear him basically say they're asking about Roger, the disappearance and the murder yesterday. And when he says Roger, her face kind of goes blank. Can you both give me a psychology roll?
I guess I can possibly get a 1. I don't.
Okay. No?
No.
And then as he says murder, she kind of pulls away and looks at him like, Roger could not have murdered anyone. What are you talking about? But she says, so, what would you like to know about my brother?
Wait. I'm sorry. My brain just misfired on that one. She spoke in the present tense?
Yes, so about my brother.
She's
good. Yeah. Well, Miss Carlisle, we were, as I was explaining to your representative here, we were hired to possibly look into the Carlisle expedition. I certainly don't mean to offend or put you out, but had Mr. Elias contacted you regarding that expedition?
I'm sure that he made attempts. I never spoke with him.
Did he or did he not?
I'm sure he did. I don't. Every message that comes across my secretaries do not pass along if that's not important. Or
Have you corresponded with your brother recently?
He's been dead 5 years now, I believe. Is that not what you're telling me? You are 5 years a little late on this expedition.
Well, I'm only just hearing about it myself. I'm not one to read the society pages. I apologize.
No. My question being, you said Roger couldn't have murdered anyone. The murder occurred last night. Why would you think he might have?
Why are you here asking about a murder in connection to my brother if he couldn't have committed it? He's dead. Hence my confusion.
Because Mr. Elias, what was his last name, Corporal?
Elias.
Elias, yes. Mr. Elias, a gentleman whom we were to meet last evening, had correspondence to your brother in his possession.
Did you bring that with you?
Corporal?
Yeah, I show her the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Along with several other pieces of information that intersect with his expedition in Cairo.
As you hand over the correspondence, the lawyer takes it and makes some notes, not on it, but on his, then hands it back. She doesn't even look at it, doesn't touch it.
Okay. So, the question is, how did Mr. Elias come to possess personal correspondence to your brother?
Ask Mr. Elias, or...
He is dead.
Or this, Najir?
Who said that?
She did.
She did, without having looked at the letter?
Well, she's not exactly idle there. She did look at the notes.
Okay.
I don't know a Najir, so...
So,
it does say Cairo, doesn't it?
Yes,
yes, but... So, you have no knowledge of Mr. Elias contacting you, seeking information about your brother's expedition?
I have no knowledge of that, no.
Would we be able to talk to your staff who may have failed to pass on any of your secretaries?
Sure, you're more than welcome to.
How may we get in touch with them?
Call the offices. And the counselor.
Yeah.
I'll get you in touch with them. Send you along with the letter. Is there anything else?
My curiosity has been piqued by the stories that I read in the paper. You went to Africa yourself to attempt to track down your brother. Is that correct?
Sorry, the storyteller is going to have to look at the... Yes. Yes, I did. Shortly after he disappeared, I went to Egypt.
And you were present when the corpses were found?
No, I was made aware of the corpses and brought them. I was not. Okay. I apologize. Matt apologizes. I misread that. Yes, I was part of the... I was leading the expedition to find them.
That is most unfortunate. I am sorry that you had to see that firsthand. You left before the investigation was completed.
I had found my brother. I am not an investigator.
Did you see anything that looks like this during your investigation?
Can't say that I remember seeing anything like that. Doesn't mean I didn't.
Fair enough.
So you did not wish to stay and see justice done in your brother's case?
Nairobi is under the king's
Quite.
protection, so the king will see to it. I trust good British justice.
Oh, of course.
Or the king did see to it?
And men were hung.
Well, you said would see to it, like had not been done yet.
At that time, I expected... The reason I left was that the king would see to it. I didn't need to see to it.
Okay.
You know, if that Negro woman hadn't taken him, none of this would have happened.
I'm sorry.
The lawyer leans over and whispers something, and she said, No. If that Negro woman had not taken him, none of this would happen.
Who would this be?
I'm sure you've read all the newspaper reports. It's all in there.
John does not remember anything about that. It's not in the paper?
It's not in the paper.
Okay. I apologize. As I said, the society pages are not something I...
She leans over and says something to the lawyer and speaks very low, and he says she prefers not to speak the woman's name.
If you can provide it at some point, that would be...
Imweru. It's African of some sort.
All right. Is she...
went on the expedition.
Did she come back to the States?
No. It's believed that her body was also found.
Right.
Hard to tell with
all the corpses.
Yes.
And she was a lover then?
Corporal.
His
I do
tastes had become depraved. This Negro woman, I don't know how he met her, but clearly his focus was lost. It's because of her I suggested that he visit Dr. Houston.
Dr. Houston...
That went on.
The psychologist?
Yes. Well, I mean, if you're going to have a psychologist, it's best to take him with you when you go on trips.
What exactly was your brother looking for on this expedition?
From the beginning, I knew that the expedition was not just one of his foolish whims. There was some sort of secret fascination, and it worried me. My brother had been known from time to time to go on these sort of things, but this was different.
Different how so?
His passion was raised. Something that Negro woman brought out of him. But he also, the reason he ended up seeing Dr. Houston is because of the nights, the terrors. He'd wake up screaming. He'd disappear for days.
Any idea where he went?
When he disappeared? No, he told us he had been in Harlem.
Harlem?
Harlem. Towards the end, Roger was constantly reading several old books. I glanced in one once. But what I read was terrifying.
Do you happen to remember the title?
Or do you have the books still?
I do not. Give me a psychology.
Getting closer.
Nope. I do not have the books. But I remember one of them was the something manuscripts.
Well, by chance, are there any journals or personal correspondence left over from your brother's, from before your brother's trip that we might be able to peruse to get some clue as to what exactly he was seeking?
She leans over to the lawyer again. You both give me listens. You hear her talking, but you can't make out the words.
Sure.
The lawyer stands up and says, "Gentlemen, please allow Miss Carlyle a few moments." And he kind of ushers her out of the room. And the giant man comes and stands in the doorway as they leave.
I'll sip some tea.
And then he turns his back to you like he's not listening. But clearly he's more interested in keeping you from following her than anything else.
Your thoughts?
Well, I have one more line of questioning that I wanted to go through, and then I believe we would possibly be done here.
Sounds good.
A few minutes later, the counselor returns. Miss Carlyle has taken to her bed. I apologize, but she will not be able to answer any more questions. If you have anything else I can answer, I'd be happy to do so.
Yes.
He motions again for you to sit, and he does so himself.
Are there ongoing activities surrounding the Penhew Foundation?
I don't know Sir Aubrey. I didn't know Sir Aubrey Penhew myself, but I'm aware that the Penhew Foundation has helped fund or funded several expeditions to Egypt and other parts of Africa. I don't know that Miss Carlyle has any interest in those anymore. I believe that after her brother, she removed any and all attachments between her family and the foundation. Anything else, John?
If you could again pass along our sympathies and our best wishes for her health and general well-being.
Give me one more psychology roll.
There's a 1 and a 60.
She come close.
Not even.
I shoot them. Clearly we separated the group in the wrong positions. Yeah.
Is there anything else I can do for you, gentlemen? Is that it?
We thank you for your time, sir. The tea was delightful.
No, well, yes, absolutely. He stands and leads you to the door. And it's open, and you're welcomed at your car by
I was
two guards.
going to say, where's Gunther?
Captain
No Neck.
Standing near the stairs, but not at the stairs.
I wander over to the stairs.
And as you get closer, for every step you take, his stare gets a little harder.
That's fine.
And you do gauge from the way he's standing that it's not just him looking hard. He has no problem putting you down where you stand at all.
I'm sure. I continue to the stairs until he moves. Will he let me get to the stairs?
He has been standing with his hands behind his back, and
That's
as
fine.
you get within 10 feet, his hand reaches, just calmly, he drops him, and then he reaches up.
Okay.
And that's it. That's as far. And if you go any farther, it'll continue, but that's...
Then it will continue. What does he do? I'm going to admire the woodwork
He
of the
puts his
banisters.
hands out, and he says, "May I help you, sir?"
And I ignore him completely. and lean over to look at the banister working.
And he puts his hand directly on your chest and he says, "Can I help you, sir?"
Admiring the woodwork.
I believe your time here is finished.
Of
Please
course
make
it
your way
is.
outside.
Certainly, one moment.
Immediately.
And I turn.
Okay.
The immediately is given a pause of a good 5 seconds.
Sure.
Servants.
You two make your way back out. The door shuts behind you, and you hear a lock slash, or, click in place. The 2 guards are by the door, or by your car, waiting for you. The dogs are sitting and relaxing, and you get in the car, and they lead you back out.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Wait, make you drive roll
Spray,
go through the wall.
spray gravel all over the dogs and their
No,
handlers.
you get to the gate, you slow down long enough for them to open the gate and get out onto the road. And
You do, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I don't just bust through the gate. This car's expensive.
Well, they're not that expensive, Corporal. They can be replaced.
So, that'll take you
money a day
guys.
I'm making now. Maybe it could.
That'll take you guys probably 3 hours total. It's actually a little farther north than in 20 minutes, and it's about an hour north. So you guys spend 3 hours there. Meanwhile, at the
So you
library.
think Roger's still alive, or is she crazy?
What's your library use? George. What's your library use?
I don't think he's still alive.
That's good.
I think perhaps she's been
He doesn't have it.
through
I
the
just really
stresses
thought-
that would put most
Yes, but I
women
have the
through
occult skill.
trials
Find
and
the book, I might be
travails.
able to interpret it.
Okay.
What's your-
It seemed crazy, too, but I, just
Okay, yeah, you're off the charts on that one.
Okay.
A good library cult.
So you guys go to the library. All 3 of you should roll library use.
Okay. Before we split up into the library,
Success.
should we agree to meet up someplace to discuss our findings?
Well, I assume you're all going to the same general area.
Oh,
I'm going
maybe
to
not.
children's books.
That's
I don't know about
probably
you.
where I'm going.
Yeah, no, he actually went to the children's books because he doesn't know where he's going. What did you success? Okay.
I succeeded by 34.
The first 4 hours go by pretty eventful. You find 6 dozen books that might be what you're looking for. That's typical in a large metropolitan library. Yes.
I also earlier passed an occult roll when looking at the thing that you said would help me. Whether
It,
there's a
it gave
difference.
you a better idea where to start. So.
Okay, so just
Yeah.
keep that.
You guys continue on after those 4 hours, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, give me another roll.
The gift shop?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, my
This library
wayward
doesn't have a
companions
gift shop.
Go
Where
ahead
have
to
you
the
been?
magazine section.
Go ahead and re-roll that. Okay.
He's
So
been
you
talking
two
up the blonde.
Go through these 6 dozen books or so. Give me an occult since you failed that. Yes.
98.
So bad
No.
at that. You two kind of narrow it down to one book, and you finally find what you're looking for.
I have a call.
It only takes you a total of 7 hours with a 12. Hence.
I'm so helpful.
The symbol is from a cult called the Cult of the Bloody Tongue. All 3 of you give me an occult check.
I got a 1,
I got it.
so that's cool.
The cult names. The cult name comes from I'm sorry. Where'd it go? Oh, it's not there. Where'd it go?
Bloody tongue, you say?
Bloody Tongue. There it is. Where'd it go?
Any
Almost there. What's the number on that? The
Of
symbol.
what?
The symbol.
Who has the symbol? The symbol.
Circle.
You had it last? There.
There it
No,
is.
nope, nope, that's not it. It's
18.
They're taking like 3 pages. There we go. Here we go. It's from dynastic Egypt. Centered of late has been centered in Kenya.
sweet. Any rolls to be made in association with that information?
No, not necessarily.
Matt, you heard I got a 1 on the roll.
Yeah.
Right?
There is a book that it's not available to you, but is referenced called the Gaharn Fragments, G''Harne, that would have more information. But it's a rare book, be hard to find.
What was it again?
Gaharn Fragments. Give me another library use roll.
Yep.
0.
Yes. Got it.
Zero's an absolute fail.
Yep.
Oh my wayward companion comes back from the magazine
From a 1 to a
section.
0, that's awesome.
I set fire to the library.
Do you not rub the books together? Your knowledge pours forth.
This index card is captivating.
Considering the population that would be part of the cult from Kenya, your best course of action or the best place for it to be located for a headquarters or some sort would be Harlem.
Okay.
Let's go take some damage.
So, any other trails you guys want to follow right now?
Well, I will check in with the lady at Harvard.
Okay.
Since we're here at the library anyway.
Johnny,
Yes.
you are given the following information when you arrive back at your
Office.
hotel.
Curse you, Dewey Decimal System.
Roger Vane Worthington Carlyle has no police record, no military service. He's always been wealthy. He's had some run-ins with paternity suits. He underwent short treatment for alcoholism when he was 18, and again when he was 20. Miraculously, he graduated from Groton.
I'm sorry, what?
Groton. Groton.
Okay.
It's a university.
Sure.
But he also attended Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Miskatonic, Cornell, and USC in
Did he enjoy
the
getting
hits.
expelled?
All right.
over 3 years.
Miskatonic, huh? Nice.
So he was expelled roughly once a
And
semester.
just a reminder, Miskatonic is considered a Ivy League school in this time. So him going to Miskatonic isn't anything freaky. It's actually a sign of importance.
Except for the fact that there's 8 other schools on the list.
Yes. He supposedly fell under the influence of a mysterious East African woman, a self-styled poetess with the nom de plume Nikonka Bunay, Nichonka Bunay. Rumors of debauchery and worse circulated among police, journalists, and so on. He started to drain vast sums of money from his family's interests, which caused some vicious arguments with his sister and their executives. This is all public knowledge. So semi-public knowledge. This is all society knowledge that you guys may not have picked up on. In the month before he left for Egypt, he became more withdrawn and more serious. The first Carlyle, Abner Vane Carrell, was transported to Virginia in 1714, having been convicted of unwholesome and desperative activities, not otherwise characterized by Derbyshire authorities. Abner was illegitimate and discredited son of an undistinguished Midlands noble. His son Ephraim moved to New England and adopted Carlyle as a more gallant surname. And since then, they made huge profits on the American Civil War and so on and so forth. Dr. Robert Ellington Houston, no police record, no military service. He has enjoyed fame and notoriety. His fees were whispered to be between $50 and $60 per visit. This is at a time when a college professor, such as you guys, as the one we have at the table, might make around $4,000 a year. Women found him suave, handsome, sensitive, perceptive, and sexy. Among his patients was Robert Carlyle. He went on the expedition to continue his treatments. After his death, his records have been turned over to the Medical Affairs Board of the State of New York.
Does it include the medical records?
No, you'd have to go look into those with the Medical Affairs Board. Viscount Pevensey Sir Aubrey Penhew had limited service as a lieutenant with the Yorkshire Guards from 1901 to 1902. Breveted as a colonel in the British Army Intelligence from 1915 to 1916, and then retired because of injury. Police records list that young Sir Aubrey was caught pinching a policeman's helmet in 1898, which you know is something that some noblemen do. I mean, it's just a thing.
Oh, yeah. The things we hang on our walls,
Getting caught, though, is kind of a slap, you know.
Yes.
And this was all while I was at Oxford. His public life can be easily followed in some British magazines that you should be able to find even older copies of. Supposedly, he traces his line to the time of William the Conqueror, when Sir Boris Penhew acquired great holdings, so on and so forth. He graduated with honors from Oxford. He spent several years in Egypt.
Why was he knighted?
That's a good question. He made several. What do you call this? He had several finds that were important to the first cataract of Egypt. That got him knighted.
Okay.
So, scholarly work. He has several. His estate has several famous homes. Though a public figure, his private life is little known. He was a bachelor, without family or heirs other than the Penhew Foundation, who now own all of his estate. Miss Hypatia Celestine Masters was another member of the expedition. No police record, no record of public service. She is heiress to the Masters' armament fortune. She dated Roger Carlyle several times, but only as a friend. Her presence on the expedition is rumored to have been a gallant whim from Roger, mostly to have somebody to go along for him. Yeah.
Well, if there were more than a passing and tenuous association, I would say that this might be the perfect arena to gather up a group of wealthy individuals and fleece them after their demise.
And finally, Jack O'Reilly Brass Brady. Brass being his nickname. His police record lists assault and barroom brawls, petty thief, loitering, gambling, moppery. Moppery is essentially, what do you call that? Being homeless.
Vagrancy.
Vagrancy, that's the word I'm looking for. Public drunkenness and an acquitted murder charge. As a Marine sergeant, he served in China and later on the Western Front, earning a Bronze Star and other commendations. He's rumored to have been a mercenary in Turkey, and he's rumored to know Turkish and Arabic, as well as several Chinese dialects. He was charged with murder when he was supposedly beat a man to death before onlookers, which is where Roger steps in, and Roger used his friendly lawyers to get Jack off, and Jack.
He what?
He used his lawyers to help Jack become acquitted. How about that?
There you go.
Since then, Jack has acted as Roger's bodyguard as well as confidant. Jack's nickname comes from a brass plate above the fourth about 4 inches square that he carries over his heart. The plate is described as covered with strange signs and inscriptions. Bullets have dented it twice. Jack has said that his mother, a recluse in Upper Michigan, had the eye, and that she made this plate to guard her son. So
Question.
yes.
I am drawing a blank on why Jack Brady's name came up in the investigation.
He went on the.
He was part of the
He was
expedition.
part of the expedition.
Yeah, expedition. He went as Roger's man.
Right. Okay. I just didn't remember. Oh, I see his name now.
What else did you want from the police?
The murder victim, the 9 people who found the symbol.
It's a list of names, most of them white, but nobody
Rich.
rich.
Where did the murders occur?
Near Harlem, but not in Harlem. That's about it. You do get information that the police are still consulting folklorist Dr. Mordecai Lemming. He may have more information.
Lemon.
Yes.
Does it say what he is a doctor of?
No.
Consulting with the police on this case also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When the murders are laid out on a map, do they make any sort of interesting picture?
No, not really.
Not like 4 across the top, 3 in the middle, 2 in the thing.
Nothing like that.
Just
It's
checking.
yeah.
Nothing like, gee, we've had 10 people killed at this point, and now we're just looking for the 11th. Just checking.
Professor Anthony Cowles is currently guesting as a professor at Miskatonic.
Is that that guy?
Yeah.
That's part of the information you were looking for. The rest of it's going to take a little bit of time.
Okay. Yeah, he's the one doing the talks.
Because the only other thing you asked for from them was the symbol, right? From her. Oh, and also something about books.
The book that would explain this book.
The
The missing book.
Okay.
The fragments.
And, like, not necessarily like does Harvard have it, but even if they don't, like, can they point us to where we can pick one up?
She can tell you they don't have it. There might be one in a private collection in London somewhere. It's the last that she's heard of.
Okay.
But there's maybe 3 in existence. You're talking about the fragments, right?
Whose collection in London?
Hmm?
Whose collection?
Yeah. Well, about how much would they go for? Whose collection is it in?
$8,000 or $9,000, considering there's 3, and that's assuming you could find somebody that was willing to part with it or willing to auction it off, which is unlikely.
Well, this group of psychos, I imagine we just roll in.
No, we asked to look at it. Jeez.
And then
Can I
shoot.
borrow your
If
copy?
If it's in London, it'll take her 3 or 4 months to get that kind of information to really look into it.
I don't need like the history of the book. I just need like the general family name of who might have it.
Have her start with the Penhew Association or the Penhew
True.
Foundation, and
Yeah, that would be something she still need 3 or 4 months to really look into.
All right. Well, if we go over there, we're going to be going by boat, so she's more than welcome to.
Boat travel to Europe is less than 2 weeks now.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like,
So, yeah.
she's still got lead time. She can
Yeah.
possibly find something.
Okay. So, anything else? Any other leads you guys want to look at?
Can we just Google it?
Smart
Is it
folks
possible
make
to
this so
search-
much easier.
Do we have
I pick up
microfiches
some
at this
advice.
point? Like,
Sorry?
can I search newspapers?
Possibility.
You could look through newspapers.
I want to look at newspapers for the names of this individual's name, Silas. What's his name?
Imquire.
Yeah, and Fraz Najir,
Okay.
which is this guy in Cairo.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking for news articles that might involve any of those individuals.
You'll have to roll some library use.
And the Penhue Foundation, because why not?
Okay.
I will assist him.
Okay, go ahead. This will probably be the rest of your day today.
I want to be looking for something different, so...
Pass.
Also pass.
Okay. You spend the rest of the evening. You find nothing on in Silas. You find nothing on the gentleman from Egypt. The Penhue Foundation, you find 4 or 5 articles describing digs that they're funding or their collection in the London Museum, parts of their collection coming to the Smithsonian in DC, but that's been 4 or 5 years ago and it's already gone back. Just looks like they're on the up and up.
And are they doing stuff? Have they done additional stuff since the Carlisle expedition in Egypt?
One expedition,
Kenya?
generally one expedition to Egypt a year. Nothing really in Kenya.
And who is this again?
Penhue.
Penhue, okay.
Anything in China? Or anywhere in the Orient?
No, their main focus is Egypt. And Egypt is all the rage right now.
Yeah.
So
Right. That's where they found the Stargate.
Yeah.
So
Right around
that kind of ends up your day. Did you want to do?
I am, since this is a rather large library, I am hoping to find books on African tribes that might actually separate the tribes a little bit.
Roll it.
Would anthropology help my roll?
You can roll that, and if you succeed, I'll give you a bonus.
I will assist you.
45. This is why you were helping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm over 80 in that.
Yes, I succeeded in anthropology.
Okay. And go ahead and roll your library use.
47 over 25%.
Yeah, you look, and you find a few books describing some of those savage tribes, but they don't really.
Still, they don't help with the whole.
Are you doing anything else? You just wanted to work today?
Well, that was like sugar all day. So.
Okay. And are you guys doing anything else? You probably have six more hours. You don't have to do every show.
Yeah.
You could spend time with.
I would, if anything, I would probably go to the library to see if they have the new Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. No, there is no new Sherlock Holmes.
There's only one.
No, there's several, but they've all been out for a while.
Oh.
He's passed. By 25, he's passed, right?
Sir Arthur
Doyle?
Conan Doyle?
Yeah.
No, he just started writing them.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember anymore.
Because when I did my
That's cool.
research,
We'll look it up. Hey, it's the internet.
If only we had this in the game.
Yeah, right.
I possess this device. It has the power
We have
to
carrier
access all
pigeons,
human
which are almost
knowledge.
as
Carrier pigeons.
because
So what theater
maybe
does she
it was
perform
when I
in?
was a child that
I would be able to spout that off
He died in 1930.
if I actually knew.
As I said, one of the only
So
vaudevillian
I've been
acts that has been brought to my
since I
attention in
was
the last
small.
10, 15 years was William J. Lepetamain. Apparently quite a talented artist, from what I understand.
Sorry, I thought
fine.
he just started
It
writing one.
doesn't ring a bell with me. And I mean, you know, she's good. She's, you know, if you like the trick shooting, but I wouldn't call it high art by any means. It is vaudeville, I feel.
Quite.
Yeah, he wrote several stories, was published. Last book was published in 1914. So, no, they've been out for a while. Anything you two are doing? No? No?
I can't think of anything.
I mean, the Emerson Imports would be the last place you guys can check, or the Juju House. Those are the only
Just
two
go
other
pick up
leads.
my favorite one at the library, and then I'll probably run into these guys.
Okay.
I would have said, don't check that thing out yet until the rest of us can go. The import house.
Okay.
I would have requested at least. whether it's as a-
Anything else you guys want to get into before you take the evening and then we start the next day?
Do you want to check the import-export house?
I do actually.
This
So
is
much
the
for
Great
them taking your
War.
advice.
Unfortunately, he stopped performing
Hey, only pay.
as the Great War came about. Apparently, in response to the inhumanity of man so it was a shame I wasn't able to see him.
It was suggested before you check out the import house, Juju, or the imports or Juju house, that you wait for the rest of the group. That was suggested by Courtney this morning.
Okay.
So we're going to check out the import house.
I believe Courtney wanted to take part in that bit of the investigation.
Well, that's not to say that we cannot return. Perhaps we might get more forward momentum if we don't show up with the gentleman in pajamas.
I disagree with that statement. So let's.
Okay, you guys head to the import, the Emerson Imports, or the Juju House. Which one?
Emerson
Imports.
Okay. It's in a long, narrow building.
I'm bringing the Winchester.
Okay. There are loading docks at both ends. Mr. Arthur Emerson greets you and recalls that Jackson Elias did in fact visit, and he expresses his condolences when he is told that Elias is dead.
Thank you, sir.
So, what may I do for you?
We were we have been employed to uncover the circumstances of his murder, and
I don't know that I have much information for you, gentlemen.
What was his business with you?
He was looking into things coming in and out from Kenya, which I don't do much with, but I did point him towards the Juju house. Silas there. Silas Nquain? Yeah.
Yes. How do you know that?
I work with a gentleman in Mombasa who uses him as his U.S. contact.
And you moved goods for Mr. Elias? Or?
No, he came to me looking for other places that would be moving things from Kenya. And I don't do that sort of thing. I'm mostly a Western European transporter. So, I don't know how I can help you gentlemen with anything else. You could give me a psychology roll if you guys want it.
That's all I got.
Why not? Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, he's totally above board. No reason to doubt him whatsoever.
Statistically speaking, you're going to make the roll sooner or later.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep trying.
So,
well then, perhaps if others of our group might reach you here regularly.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. So, you guys head back to the Ritz after that?
Yeah.
Okay. And that'll end the day, I assume?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in the library.
Okay.
So,
The day ends, and you guys start on the 17th of January. And do you guys all want to go to Juju House?
Yes, but before I go, I might actually put on my shoulder holster and put my gun on.
And do we all want to
shirt.
revisit the importers, since I told him we'd be coming back?
We have no idea you've been there. So, yeah,
Well, I imagine.
yeah.
But I
I
imagine
assume
we're
for dinner or for breakfast and
Good,
caught
yeah,
up
I
on the day.
suggest we.
So I'd like to roleplay that scene out if we could.
Sure,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay.
So you'll come to dinner, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
What did you find out with the Carlyles?
Not a lot, unfortunately. Nothing that spurs me to action. I'm left with just as many questions as I went in with.
The poor girl is not only distraught over the passing of her brother, but apparently either still believes him, denies his passing, even though she's seen the body. She seems somewhat, how would you put it, distressed, even to now, and perhaps confused.
Death weighs heavily on men's mind.
And apparently women's.
There is one thing. I guess two things. His bodyguard, his confidant, a Jack Brady. According to police records, he had a copper, brass plate.
Brass.
Implanted.
Not implanted, it just hangs.
Oh, hangs.
It's on a chain.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought it was... Anyway, that was reported to have occult symbols, but unfortunately the police records did not actually have a depiction of a picture or etching or anything like that.
What was it purpose did it serve?
Well, it's not a matter of public record. The only thing I can say about that is that his mother was reported to have had the gift or the evil eye. She is a recluse in northern Michigan, so it may be connected to those beliefs somehow. I don't know. But then there was also the priestess Nakonoka Bune, who Roger apparently had relations with, romantic or otherwise. She is linked to Harlem. Was she directly out of character? Was she directly linked to the Juju house?
Who?
The
Bonet.
priestess Bonet.
No, she was not connected.
I thought she was.
There was nothing that connected her to Juju House.
Other than it's in Harlem and
Yeah. Well,
That-
you're also assuming that she's in Harlem.
Yes.
she was. You said she was known.
I said
no.
I said that when he disappeared, he
disappeared
claimed
to Harlem.
he went to Harlem.
And she is a African priestess, so she may have some connection to Harlem as well. Let's see. Then there's Dr. Lemming. His name was given as. This didn't come from the Carlyles specifically. Dr. Lemming is consultant on this case as well for the police. I would be interested in speaking with him if we can track him down.
Is the brass plate... Could I make a roll to see if the brass plate brings
That's
a memory to me of a possible spell component or
You can roll luck. Sure.
luck? 3,208.
Can be one of any dozen things that is the focus for some sort of magic.
There's nothing else you can remember about the brass plate.
I can show you. I showed you the police
Yeah,
report.
there's nothing
There's
really
nothing
there.
specific.
Even with bullet holes that it seems to
It's not bullet
acquire.
holes,
No,
dents.
the bullet dents that it seems to have acquired.
Nope.
Okay.
So yes, that's really all our information that I can relate.
You mentioned something about the priestess from Harlem?
Well, I suppose
Possibly from Harlem.
yes. She is an African priestess of some sort. And
We found information about that symbol carved into the head. Has to do with a cult of the bloody tongue.
ominous.
It's a dynastic Egyptian. Seems to be centered around Kenya.
It's of late centered around Kenya.
Of late, centered around Kenya.
My out of character. My knowledge of African geography is poor. Where is Kenya in relation to Egypt?
It's south of Ethiopia, so it's like
It's where the old church used to be.
You go down past First
okay.
Street.
So here
take
is
a left.
the Sahara Desert's kind of like here,
Sure,
and Egypt's
Egypt,
kind of here,
up
and there's
there.
kind of the the little part that juts us the Horn of Africa.
sure.
Ethiopia and Kenya.
So it is relatively close. I mean, it's not
Yeah, you have to cross the desert to get there, but you can go
Right.
down the river.
Okay.
interesting.
It is also a mountainous region.
It's by Ethiopia. He doesn't know where that is either.
Not my fault.
This is. I didn't say it was. It was just.
It was just funny.
That's awesome.
So,
We might want to go to this place in Harlem.
the Juju house.
Yes, all our signs seem to be pointing towards that particular location.
We might want to go to the export house as well.
True.
Well, we actually did stop by there.
Oh, I'd mentioned I wanted to come along with you to that.
Certainly.
Well,
I let him know we'd be revisiting again tomorrow.
Well, I'm sure that you will enjoy your trip there.
You no longer wish to visit?
Mr. Byrne, I've always enjoyed your friendship and your loyalty. It has been something that I've valued over the years. I must go to my meditations. I will see all of you in the morning. I go upstairs.
Well, there it is.
You seem to have angered the man in pajamas. I did not think that was possible until this moment.
neither did I.
Okay.
Well, anyway, yes, the Juju house, the murders happened around Harlem. The Juju house is in Harlem. An African priestess, it would make sense if she was based out of Harlem. Our deceased Mr. Carlyle claims to have visited Harlem in his youthful adventures around the city. I suppose that makes sense. And again, the imports-exports business told us that Mr. Elias had come seeking information about I had it a second ago. What did he go to the business for?
To ask about anybody importing things from Kenya.
Right. And the gentleman there directed him to the Juju house in Harlem. So, yeah, I think that's got to be our next step. In the morning, perhaps.
Well, we'll talk Weldy into going back to the import place with us on the way there. See if he has any other questions for the connections between the two.
Yes.
Is that it? So you guys part for the evening? Get together for the morning?
Okay. I don't think we can
As
really
I said,
establish
I will-
anything tonight. Captain
As I-
Pajamas has left the building.
I'd like everyone to give me an idea roll.
Any word or telegram back from England?
I have an idea.
So do I.
I passed by 59.
We all have an idea.
Anyone not make it?
I don't think I have idea listed on here.
Top right.
Oh, idea. Oh. Yeah, I did not make it.
Okay.
No ideas.
So the four of you realized that maybe Jonah Kensington, the publisher of Elias's books, might have more information on Elias at least.
That's probably smart.
I mean, they were good friends, and in the commotion, maybe you guys spaced that.
Yep, I did.
So, sounds like a good place to end that for tonight. So we want to thank you guys again for listening. You can always catch us on Twitter at Nerds Domain. I'm at Quiet. Shirley is at SNed70. Johnny is at Fool's Mask. Justin is at J_Kimmett and now has a follower, Ray.
Yay,
You should
finally
all go follow Jesse just so that he feels like he has
I
friends.
have 2 followers. How do you know?
Scott is _Big Daddy T_. George is at the Chimples, and Jason is still a communist.
So you think.
Yes. You can always email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com and check out our shirts over on /loot. That's tinyurl.com/indie shirts. And I think that'll do it for us. We'll talk to you.
Indie is in the letter.
In and D, yes, the 2 letters. We will talk to you guys real soon.